राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी The mic is not working. You see, he doesn't know. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kartal Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Radha Govind Radha Govind Radhe Jai Radha Govind Radha Govind Radhe Dev Mustapha Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Stotra Shatashi Srimad His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Shri Radha Govinda Dev Ki Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani Ki Shri Radha Damodar Ki Shri Gaunitai Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Kartik Maas Mahamahotsav Ki Nitai Gaura Premanande All glories to assembled devotees All glories to assembled devotees All glories to assembled devotees All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Nashtaprayesha Bhadresha Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, we are reading from Canto 4 of Srimad Bhāgavatam, Chapter 2, entitled Daksha Curses Lord Shiva. Text 14-15, and we'll repeat text 16. प्रेतावसेषु घोरेषु प्रेतैर्भूतगणैर्वृतः अटत्युन्मत्तवन्नग्नो युक्तो केशो हसन्रुदन् चिताभस्मकृतस्नान प्रेतस्सन् नतिभूषणः शिवापदेशो ह्यशिवो मत्तो मत्त जनप्रियः पतिः प्रमथनाथानां तमो मात्रात्मकात्मनाम्. Translation: He lives in filthy places like the crematoriums, and his companions are ghosts and demons. Naked like a madman, sometimes laughing and sometimes crying, he smears the crematorium ashes all over his body. He does not bathe regularly, and he ornaments his body with a garland of skulls and bones. Therefore, only in name is he Shiva or auspicious. Actually, he is the most mad and inauspicious creature. Thus, he is very dear to crazy beings in the gross mode of ignorance, and he is their leader. Sri Prabhupada's purport: Those who do not regularly bathe are supposed to be in association with ghosts and crazy creatures. Lord Shiva appeared to be like that, but his name Shiva is actually fitting, for he is very kind to persons who are in the darkness of the mode of ignorance, such as unclean drunkards who do not regularly bathe. Lord Shiva is so kind that he gives shelter to such creatures and gradually elevates them to spiritual consciousness. Although it is very difficult to raise such creatures to spiritual understanding, Lord Shiva takes charge of them, and therefore, as stated in the Vedas, Lord Shiva is all auspicious. Thus, by his association, even such fallen souls can be elevated. Sometimes it is seen that great personalities meet with fallen souls, not for any personal interest, but for the benefit of those souls. In the creation of the Lord, there are different kinds of living creatures. Some of them are in the mode of goodness, some are in the mode of passion, and some are in the mode of ignorance. Lord Vishnu takes charge of persons who are advanced Krishna conscious Vaishnavas, and Lord Brahma takes charge of persons who are very much attached to material activities. But Lord Shiva is so kind that he takes charge of persons who are in gross ignorance and whose behavior is lower than that of the animals. Therefore, Lord Shiva is especially called auspicious. Okay, text 16. Tasma unmadanathaya nashta shauchaya durhride datta bata maya sadvi chodite parameshthina tasma unmadanathaya nashta shauchaya durhride datta bata maya sadvi chodite parameshthina तस्मा उन्मादनाथाय नष्टशौचाय दुर्हृदे दत्ता बत मया साध्वी चोदिते परमेष्ठिना. Please repeat. तस्मा उन्मादनाथाय नष्टशौचाय दुर्हृदे दत्ता बत मया साध्वी Mataji? नष्टशौचाय दुर्हृदे दत्ता बत मया साध्वी चोदिते परमेष्टिना. Tasmai, to him, Unmadanathaya, to the Lord of the ghosts, Nashtashochaya, being devoid of all cleanliness, Durhride, heart filled with nasty things, Datta was given, Bata, at last, alas, Maya, by me, Sadhvi, Sati, Chodite, being requested, Parameshthina, for the supreme teacher Brahma. Translation and purport by Sri Prabhupada. Sri Prabhupada ki. On the request of Lord Brahma, I handed over my chaste daughter to him. Although he is devoid of all cleanliness and his heart is filled with, although he is devoid of all cleanliness and his heart is filled with nasty things. Please repeat. On the request of Lord Brahma, I handed over my chaste daughter to him. Although he is devoid of all cleanliness and his heart is filled with nasty things. Prabhupada's purport. It is the duty of parents to hand over their daughters to suitable persons, just befitting their family tradition in cleanliness, gentle behavior, wealth, social position, etc. Daksha was repentant that on the request of Brahma, who was his father, he had handed over his daughter to a person who, according to his calculation, was nasty. He was so angry that he did not acknowledge that the request was from his father. Instead, he referred to Brahma as Parameshti, the supreme teacher in the universe. Because of his temperament of gross anger, he was not even prepared to accept Brahma as his father. In other words, he accused even Brahma of being less intelligent because he had advised Daksha to hand over his beautiful daughter to such a nasty fellow. In anger, one forgets everything. And thus Daksha, in anger, not only accused the great Lord Shiva, but criticized his own father, Lord Brahma, for he is not very astute. I advise that, for his not very astute advice that Daksha hand over his daughter to Lord Shiva. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरत्विषे नमः. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमोस्तुते. तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदवनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. We welcome all of you to our morning Bhagavatam class. I beg for the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas so that we can speak something from Sri Prabhupada's purport in line with mood of Sri Prabhupada. Actually, this entire section is very relevant because as not so pure devotees, or at least myself, not a pure devotee, generally we also get into some of the things Daksha gets into. So here we see in the first first two verses, Daksha is criticizing Shiva as a naked madman who is wearing the crematorium ashes and who always associates with those who are low class. So, as in the English language it is said, beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. Isn't it? For example, as Vaishnavas, we say Vaishnavanam yatha Shambhu, isn't it? That means he's in the material world, he's the best devotee. But whereas Daksha is not able to see that. So you find when Daksha says his companions are the ghosts and demons, so he is saying in a derogatory manner. When we look at Shiva, we can say he's so compassionate that he's always with ghosts and demons. Naked like a madman, sometimes laughing and sometimes crying. So similarly, if you read Prahlad Maharaj's section, you will find even Prahlad Maharaj was sometimes laughing, sometimes crying. So Daksha sees it as a characteristic of being mad in a derogatory sense. Whereas we see it as Lord Shiva is such a pure devotee, he's an avadut. And he's always laughing and crying out of great ecstatic emotion. He does not bathe regularly. Actually, there's a famous Madhavendra Puri's prayer. He says, my obeisances to the Sandhya Vandanam, my obeisances to bathing daily, and my obeisance to all these rituals because I'm not able to do them as I'm strongly attracted to chanting Hare Krishna. I'm not able to let go of chanting Hare Krishna. So when we look at Shiva, the Vaishnavas understand Shiva is such a great devotee that he doesn't have to follow these rituals. He's beyond them. Yeah. And of course, Daksha says only in name is he Shiva. But we say yes, not only in name he is Shiva, otherwise also by nature, by character he is Shiva. So in this way you find when there is envy towards any living entity, one cannot see clearly. That means whatever is good in a person also appears to be bad. And when there is love for the living entities, whatever is also bad appears good. Isn't it? So it is the whole world is a perception. The reality is only according to our perception. So when we are dealing with this world, what are we really dealing with? Our own perception of this world. We are not actually dealing with this world, isn't it? So based on the state of consciousness, we are dealing with this world. So here we can clearly understand how Daksha, being so envious of Shiva, he is actually thinking that Shiva is the most derogatory, he says, creature, derogatory creature, low class fellow. Where the Vaishnavas say that he is the most elevated person and the topmost devotee of the Supreme Lord. And therefore, in purport, Sri Prabhupada is emphasizing how auspicious is Lord Shiva. And coming to today's verse, in the purport, Sri Prabhupada emphasizes about the danger of anger. In the English language, there's a saying, they say anger is one letter short of danger. That means wherever there's anger, there's usually something dangerous. It is said murder is mostly a family crime. Not that out of love they kill each other. It is because when people succumb to anger, they cannot think what the consequences of what will happen next. Therefore, in the Gita 16th chapter, Krishna tells Arjuna, Trividam narakasyedam dwaram nashanam atmanaha. There are three gateways to hell, Arjuna. What are they? Kama, Krodha, Tata, Lobha. One is called as lust, other one is called as anger, another is called as greed. And therefore you should give it up. So in the 16th chapter of the Gita, Krishna is explaining the divine and demoniac assets. How many verses attributed to divine assets? Any idea? Only two. Yeah, first two. Remaining everything is, sorry, first three. Okay, three. And after that is mostly talks about demoniac assets. And Krishna attributes these demoniac assets, he bases them off lust, anger, greed, isn't it? That means when we succumb to envy, there's also lust, anger, greed. When we succumb to lust, anger, greed, all the further demoniac assets descend in us, isn't it? And that's what we see. Daksha, you know the context. Daksha is as he's coming into the assembly where many people had gathered from over the universe, just because Shiva and Brahma, just because Shiva especially did not get up. As he came, everyone stood up. You know, he himself is a great personality, having a great position, big post. So when he saw that Brahma did not get up, he excused Brahma, thinking, at least he's my father, it's all right. He's superior to me. But why this nasty Shiva doesn't get up, isn't it? So he felt very bad because he was seeing Shiva on a material platform. According to him, Shiva was his son-in-law, but he could not see Shiva more than his son-in-law. So then he succumbs to anger, and in that anger, he also, Prabhupada writes that he offends Brahma because he's no more ready to call Brahma as my father. He calls him a Parameshti, some senior person in the universe. So, what is the cause of anger? If you see Srimad Bhāgavatam, wherever any devotee succumb to anger, there has always been devastation. Can you give any example from Srimad Bhagavatam or Ramayana or any literature from the Vedic scripture where someone succumbed to anger and led to devastation? Yeah. Okay. Dhruv Maharaj and Yakshas. Thank you. Okay. Anything else? Hiranyakashipu. What happened, Hiranyakashipu? He died. Okay. Devastation part was he died. He became angry upon uh, the killing of his brother by Vishnu. So he wanted to kill Vishnu, but he got killed. Okay, correct. Anything else? Yeah, Durvasa Muni and Ambrish. Yes. Kamsa. Can you elaborate a little? Yeah, he went berserk. Right. So he just wanted to kill Devaki. He couldn't see. He didn't care further. Yeah. Okay, the whole Ramayana war happened. Okay. Yeah. Vishwaroop. Correct. Indra. Yes, correct. Because Indra saw that Vishwaroop was giving ahuti, offering of oblations to demigods, and say three times he'd give for demigods, and once he would give for demons. Because he had some connection, he himself was a descendant of the demoniac dynasty. So Indra became very angry and he cut off the head of Vishwaroop. That comes later on in Shiva invokes the Veerbhadra, and later on Durvasa also calls for a demon later on. But of course, the father of Vishwaroop, his name is Tvashta. Tvashta again puts a yajna and he gets Vitrasura. Yeah, Vitrasura. So many examples. Hmm? So you agree that anger leads to devastation? Yeah? Okay, good. Sometimes, not always. So whose anger? So when you see across Srimad Bhagavatam, there are three categories who get three categories of um, entities, we'll say, who get angry. One is, you can say, materialistic people or not pure devotees. Let's put it as not pure devotees. And second category of people who get angry are pure devotees. And third category of people who get angry is not really people, the supreme people, who is supreme person, who is the Lord. Lord also gets angry. So the cause of anger for each one of them is different, isn't it? If you see the materialistic people or people with materialistic tendencies, why do they get angry? What is the cause of anger? Yeah, unfulfilled desires. Very good. Krishna says in Gita, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha Sangasteshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kaman Krodho Bhijayate. That means when we contemplate on material sense objects, that dhyayata, that contemplation leads to no attachment. And further contemplation, further investing in that attachment leads to desires. A strong desire to enjoy the sense object. And when that goes unfulfilled, it leads to anger. And what does anger lead to? Krodhat bhavati sammoha. Sammoha smriti vibramaha. Smriti vibramshat buddhinasho buddhinashat pranashyati. 262 to 63 Gita. Yeah, so what does it lead to? Suffering, okay, but according to Gita verse, Krodhat bhavati sammoha. Yeah, delusion. Okay. Yeah, delusion leads to loss of intelligence. Smriti vibramaha. That means one forgets what all good has this person done to me. When I was in the times of most need, he was the one who had extended help. No one had helped me before. But in that loss of memory, everything is lost. He doesn't see what good he has done, how much he has stood for me. In anger, one can even become angry towards the one's own person, one's own close person, isn't it? So therefore, sammoha smriti vibramaha. The memory is lost. And what is the next one after that? Sorry? Yeah, buddhinash. What is that? English. Lost. Yes. Then intelligence is lost. That means he can no more discriminate what is right, what is wrong. And Krishna says, Buddhi nashat pranashyati. For a person who has lost intelligence, he is destroyed. Himself is destroyed. So therefore you find that anger can lead to delusion. Delusion leads to loss of memory, which leads to intelligence being lost, and finally one's own destruction. Isn't it? So in the Srimad Bhāgavatam, later on in the fourth canto, a pure devotee, Dhruva, when Dhruva was young, at the age of 5, no, actually not age of 5, actually 5.5, he met the Lord, isn't it? Because it took him 5-6 months to meet the Lord. So at the age of 5.5, 5.5, he met the Supreme Lord face to face. And the Supreme Lord placed his shank on his head, and because of which Dhruva had recited so many beautiful prayers. The same Dhruva, as he becomes later on, goes on to become the king. Initially, he was angry, isn't it? Why did he go to the forest? Well, he was angry. He was angry that his stepmother had insulted him. Prabhupada writes there was Kshatriya blood flowing in his body. So that Kshatriya blood was very hot. It was boiling, and therefore he just wanted to do anything. And at the age of 5, was so spirited that he thought, I will get a kingdom greater than that of my great grandfather Brahma. So, but at that time you will find, whom does he go to? Dhruva, his mother, isn't it? And his mother was a pure devotee, Suniti. Ruchi means taste. Suruchi means one who goes by form. She only had a beautiful form, but no character. Suniti means character. Suniti means person of noble character. Su means very, very. So she was high with character. She was not very beautiful as Suruchi, but she was very noble with character. And that's why Uttarapada, succumbing to lust, he was siding with Suruchi and not with Suniti. Suniti was living elsewhere in the same kingdom. So Dhruva was so upset, breathing heavily like a snake that has been trampled upon. He rushed to his mother seeking advice. What should I do? This is what I want. A kingdom greater than that of Lord Brahma. And what does his mother say? If you want anything in this world, go to Vishnu. So where do I find Vishnu? She said, go to the forest. That's where the yogis find Vishnu. Isn't it? So because he was angry, being angry is not wrong. I mean, it is, but a small child, what can I expect? He was angry, but his anger was directed in the right way by a pure devotee, Suniti. And therefore, that anger led him to meet Vishnu ultimately. He meets Narada, and then Narada gives him a mantra. He does 5 months of tapasya, and then meets the Lord. But ultimately, met the Lord, isn't it? So later on, as he starts ruling the kingdom, his brother Uttama, who was the son of Suruchi, he gets to know that he was killed by the Yakshas. Not all of the Yakshas, not by the entirety of the race of Yakshas, but just one Yaksha killed his brother. So now that anger, Kshatriya blood. So he again became angry. But this time he didn't seek any advice. He didn't seek any guidance. So what happened? He thought, I am the king. So let me take care of this business by myself. So he went to the world of Yakshas and started to wipe out the race of Yakshas. So then as he attacked the Yakshas, there was a huge war that was ensued. And then as he was becoming victorious in wiping out the race of Yakshas, immediately who comes? His Grace Swambhu Manu Prabhu. Isn't it? Swambhu Manu comes and tells Dhruva, I can't believe you are doing this. See, Dhruva is very angry. If you're angry, do you like feedback? No. So therefore, a senior should come. If it was Dhruva's childhood friend who comes and says, "Hey Dhruva, I can't believe you are doing this," Dhruva would have killed him along with the Yakshas, isn't it? But a senior devotee came. That is Swambhu Manu. Swambhu Manu came, but how did he give feedback? When Swambhu Manu came, he first of all told Dhruva, "My dear Dhruva, you are the same person who met Lord Vishnu face to face. You are coming in the lineage of Brahma. That means you're a person of high reputation. You're a person of high character, of high devotion. How can you do this?" So first is a plus. That means first he glorified Dhruva. And then he withdrew, minus, saying that please don't kill Yaksha. This is the wrong thing what you're doing. Because this is just one Yaksha who killed your brother. Is this the punishment of one Yaksha? Why are you giving to all the other innocent Yakshas? So this is not reasonable. And then again he glorified Dhruva for how he has met Lord Vishnu. So if we have to give feedback, how do we give? Plus, minus, plus. You start with Prabhu. Since day one, I remember you were always enthusiastic. But nowadays, what happened? You don't come for morning program. But I know you have it in you. Plus, minus, plus. Then they will not feel bad. It's like punching with a velvet glove. When they get a punch, they see who it is punching, but then they see velvet. Velvet, everyone likes velvet. So they don't mind. Isn't it? So plus, minus, plus. So when Swambhu Manu glorified and then also corrected Dhruva, Dhruva came to his senses. And this is the glory of Dhruva. See, Dhruva, because Swambhu Manu corrected him, immediately he stopped. Generally, anyone who comes under the sway of anger is not easy to stop. They need a couple of days to cool down, isn't it? I mean, I'm talking about the level of anger of Dhruva. He was so angry, just to cool down would have taken him some time. But when Swambhu Manu came, see, he himself is a pure devotee, Bhāgavatam explains. So again, he took guidance of pure devotee. He immediately cooled down, Dhruva. And then what happened? Then, being impressed by Dhruva's such character, how is it possible to immediately cool down from anger? Kubera, who is the leader of the Yakshas, he came and started to glorify Dhruva. He started to glorify the same person who was about to wipe out the race of Yakshas. Yakshas come under Kubera. Kubera is the king of Yakshas, or leader. But Kubera did not mind. And then Dhruva asked for forgiveness. But Dhruva asked Kubera for forgiveness. But Kubera said it's all right. How is it all right? Because Dhruva stopped his anger. That itself is a big thing, isn't it? So therefore, in this material world, there are many situations which will incite anger. Sense objects incite anger. Unfulfilled desires of any sort incites anger. An angry person can incite anger. So many things. Basically, anger is there in the heart, and therefore anger comes. One boy went to his mentor and said, Prabhuji, since the time I've come to Krishna consciousness, I see that I've become more lusty, more angry, more greedy. So the mentor told this boy that it's not that I've become more lusty, more angry, more greedy. Now you're able to see how much lust is in the heart, how much greed is in the heart, and how much anger is there. Prabhupada calls it a black dot and a white dhoti. Everyone can see, isn't it? But a black dot and a black dhoti, can you see? You cannot see. So as we practice Krishna consciousness, we can see that heart is polluted, isn't it? So, what was I saying just before this? After that, at least yeah. I mean, some just before this point, I was making this point. Anyway, so so you can see when we succumb to anger, all the bad qualities come in us. I was saying that anger is within us. It's not that we get angry or anger from outside. It's already there. The heart is polluted, and therefore situations bring out that anger. So for the materialistic people, the cause of anger is unfulfilled desires lead to anger. Whereas for Krishna or pure devotees, they also become angry. I mean, we know so many instances when Sri Prabhupada became angry, isn't it? I think it was in, I don't know where exactly. In one temple he went, and they served charnamrit to Prabhupada, and the charnamrit was salty. And Prabhupada was upset. He said, "Who did this?" And there was one girl standing nearby, and she was just giggling. And Prabhupada said, "Get me someone serious." He was very angry at that time. It was LA? Okay. So, so like this, there were many other times also. For example, once Prabhupada was, I think chastising, and then one new bhakta, he came to Swamiji and said, "Swamiji, why don't you chant Hare Krishna, and be happy?" And Prabhupada just put the hand in his beaver and started chanting. Isn't it? So you find this is like Dhruva. He was angry, but immediately, as Swambhu Manu said, he just stopped anger. Not easy. Only pure devotees can do that. So, like this, even pure devotees become angry. But pure devotees or the Lord as Nrsimhadev, as Varahadev, these even Lord Vishnu becomes angry when he sees that his devotees are being tortured. The Supreme Lord also becomes angry, but not for themselves. The pure devotees don't become angry because of unfulfilled desires. They become angry when they see the Lord or the other pure devotees are insulted. They don't bear insult. Out of that, there is anger. Or out of great compassion, there is anger. Like Narada Muni, who goes to the Mandakini Ganga and sees that these two heavenly boys, Nalkuver and Manigriv, they're bathing naked in the most auspicious lake, with enjoying with women. How abominable! And therefore, see, no one can peacefully curse someone. Isn't it? You can ask Prabhu, where is it written he was angry? Yeah, I mean, the very fact that he cursed is that he was angry. Can I say, Prabhu, I curse you to be a tree? Haribo. You can never do that. If someone is cursing, that means he is angry. But that anger, what was the result of that anger? Nalakuver and Manigriv got birth as Tamarajuna trees in the courtyard of Krishna, Krishna's playground, Nanbhavan. So the pure devotees also get angry, but that anger is benefiting. The Lord also gets angry. What happened when Lord Narasimhadev got angry? Hiranyakashipu got benefited. How can anyone say how did Hiranyakashipu being killed got benefited? He got liberated. I mean, they also come in next life as Ravana and Kumbhakarna. He could see Lord. Everyone could see. Okay. Okay. That was anyway preset condition. One is done. It was anyway done. So how did the Supreme Lord benefit Hiranyakashipu by killing him? Because the Supreme Lord is absolute. Anything he does is perfect. Krishna's stealing is also perfect. His giving is also perfect. Whatever he does is perfect. How can you say? How is Krishna compassionate towards the demons? Otherwise, Krishna says, Sammoham sarva bhuteshu, na me dveshyasti na priyaha. I'm not inimical to anyone, nor am I friendly to anyone. I mean, if he's only killing without benefiting them, then definitely he's inimical. How is the Supreme Lord benefiting the demons? Yes, Prabhuji. Okay, they become free from the karma. Thank you. Anything else? Yeah, very good. That is also there. That Krishna is stopping their sinful activities. Like you have heard that when Krishna sees that someone is offending the Vaishnavas, such a person, Krishna removes them from the association. Krishna says that in one place. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, one who is chanting Hare Krishna and offending my devotees, through the chanting of Hare Krishna, I'll remove them from the association by giving them material desires in the heart. Why? Because if he stays in the association of Vaishnavas, he'll commit more offenses, basically degrading himself even further. So therefore, Krishna separates him. So by killing the demons, he's protecting the demons from further sinful activity, isn't it? Yeah. So the Lord's anger, the pure devotees' anger only benefits, whereas the materialistic or non-pure devotees, our anger may not benefit so much. So becoming angry is generally not very good because if you see history, anyone who gets angry, it generally goes out of control. Like someone says, "Na yukta vairagya Prabhu, use anger in Krishna seva." Yeah, but that's not easy. Like Haridas Thakur used prostitute in Krishna seva. How many of you can imitate this? This is a don't try at home kind of thing, isn't it? You can only appreciate Haridas Thakur. You cannot use prostitute in Krishna seva. So we also have to be capable of using something. So generally, one should stay very very far away from anger. So how can we stay far away when we study the consequences of anger? What are the consequences of anger? Daksha, he could not discriminate. Buddhinasha. Hmm? Buddhinasha Pranashati. Daksha was insulting Shiva, he went on to insult even Brahma. Two pure devotees here insulted. If someone else would have come, he would have insulted him also. Isn't it? This is in contrast to how Dhruva behaved. Dhruva did not kill Sambhumanu. He immediately dropped his bow. Whereas Daksha, he was, it went out of control. So one is they make irrational decisions when we are angry. We make irrational decisions. Second is we offend more and more. We offend everyone basically when we are angry. Sometimes we speak harsh words when we are angry. We break relationships when we are angry. And so these are some of the things that happens when we are angry. So therefore, Anger should be very much dovetailed. And dovetail means only in certain cases under guidance. Like Arjuna is fighting Mahabharata. Personally, Arjuna is a pure devotee. He doesn't want to fight. That's the whole first chapter about. Second chapter, Krishna is saying, become angry and fight. Hmm? Taktvatishta uparantapa, get up and fight. Krishna is saying. And Prabhupada said, because without becoming angry, you cannot have violence. So anger is also important in Krishna Seva. So did Arjuna become angry without guidance or with guidance? With guidance. So with guidance, anger is okay. But without guidance, Arjuna didn't want to fight. That's how we should be. Without under guidance, some things can be done. Like Yukta Vairagya should be done under guidance. Not that we are capable of handling everything and dovetailing everything in Krishna Seva. So that's another point. And then we also see that Daksha, because he was offending one Vaishnava, all bad qualities came in him. You know how the whole Daksha scene happens? Before he starts saying anything, he first says, see, I don't mean to offend anyone, but he's a rascal, he's a fool. so, so because he is inimical to Vaishnava, all the bad qualities come. But if you become a devotee of the Lord, all the good qualities of all the demigods also descend. Yasya asti bhaktir bhagavat kinchana sarvair gunais tatra samasate suraha harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manoratena sati dhavato bahi. A person who becomes a devotee of the Supreme Lord, he gets all of the qualities of all the demigods, all the good qualities. But one who becomes dveshi, who becomes against the Supreme Lord, abhakta, harav abhakta, kutasya mahadgunan. What good quality does he have? Even if he says, I'm a moral person, I'm an ethical person, it's only manorathena sati dhavato bahi. That means he's just riding on the chariot of the mind. Today he's good because circumstances are good, and the mind tells him be good. Tomorrow he's in a circumstance where he's in a situation, he's in a problem, then he doesn't mind even cheating because there's actually no quality. It's just chariot of the mind. Sometimes it is good, sometimes it is bad. But devotees are not like that. They're loyal to the Supreme Lord. They're loyal to the Supreme Lord even in toughest and toughest of situations. Therefore, become a devotee, all good qualities come. Become a materialist, a bhakta, then all the good qualities, whatever is there, also will go away. And that's what happened for Daksha. All the good qualities went away. So, I mean, these are some of the thoughts, and there's much more, but we don't have so much time. Maybe before we conclude, just one other thing is Daksha is blaming Brahma, whereas you see when Parikshit found bull being killed or being tortured by Kali, he asked the bull, who is the one imposing such torture to you? I mean, Kali is right there with the weapon and is suffering, and he just asked out of formality. So, if you were in bull's position, what would you say? What kind of question are you asking? This is the rascal who is doing this, isn't it? But what did the bull say? Bull said, the one who points to the perpetrator incurs the equal amount of sin as the perpetrator. So, my dear king, you understand who is responsible. Hearing this answer, Parikshit understood. This is no ordinary person, this is no ordinary bull, this must be dharma. And then Parikshit takes this person to charge. But bull did not blame. Whereas Daksha, because he is inimical to one Vaishnava, he is blaming other Vaishnavas. So, therefore, if we want a very healthy society, blaming the BMW, we have to get rid of BMW. BMW means blaming, mourning, and whining. Who did this beautiful garland? Me. And you raise your collar. Who was the one who burnt the khichdi? It's others, not me. So immediately when something bad happens, we are ready to blame others. When something good happens, raise the collar. But Vaishnavas are exactly opposite. When Srivas Thakur saw some envious people had put up the black magic stuff in front of his home, he came out of the door and saw some things, some tantric stuff is there. What did Srivas Thakur say? Yes, this is what I'm doing all night. I'm actually a tantric person. But the people looking at his humility, they said, my dear Shivas Thakur, it is not you. We know it. Isn't it? But today's situation is different. Something happens, we say, I didn't do it. Everyone says, no, you only did it. You see? So, therefore, blaming is also not very good. If we don't, if any situation is there, better to take some responsibility. Blaming makes, it gets no good out of anyone. Isn't it? It's just basically, putting the ball in someone else's court. So another no, another mistake of Daksha on account of offense to Vaishnava is he's blaming Vaishnavas. Okay, so I'll pause here. I mean, there's much more to say because we started late. But anyway, it's already 9 o'clock. Maybe we can take one minute for if anyone has any questions or comments. Yeah.
So you're talking about morality, how people how moral people acts immorally in perverse conditions. Uh, like, what are your thoughts on devotees who act immoral in certain material conditions? For example, if we are not prepared for the exam, then we start cheating in the exams, or we are not prepared for interviews, so we start using proctoring softwares for doing that, or we start using softwares to do programming problems. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So that is also again yukta vairagya, isn't it? So that if that thing is done under guidance, if he's not independent doing it, if he's doing it under guidance, like when I was studying in college, the famous question of students, first year students was, can we cheat in exam? And certain professors, they also know everyone is cheating. They just don't care. So then we were told by our seniors that if everyone is cheating and teacher also knows, then you also cheat. Then you can say, my dear Prabhu, you are saying telling me to cheat. How is this possible? I thought you are a devotee. But you see the circumstance, isn't it? So therefore, if you want to cheat, ask your guru. He says you cheat, cheat, no problem. If the guru says no, don't cheat, and let everyone cheat, but you don't cheat. But you can say, my dear Guruji, I'll fail the exam. Still, you don't cheat. Then you should not cheat. It has to be done under guidance. These are very sensitive issues. Yukta Vairagya. Okay, then.
So thank you so much, Prabhu, for the wonderful class. So you gave example of Dhruv Maharaj in two condition. One, when he was angry, he went to his mother, and when he was like angry again, he did not ask for
I
guidance.
gave you Dhruv Maharaj in three conditions.
Uh,
When he was young, he was angry, went to his mother. When he was angry and he took up the bow and arrow without consulting anyone. And then when he was angry, Swambhu Manu came.
yeah.
Three conditions.
Yeah, so like I'm like taking two conditions. Like first, when he went to his mother, and second, when he did not go to anyone.
Okay.
So these conditions can come to us also. Like when we are angry, sometimes we may approach the seniors that, oh, this is the situation. What should I do? And sometimes we may not go, and it may create devastation. So
Correct.
how should we foresee it? Like I'm getting angry, and I should consult a
No,
senior.
whenever you're angry, just go to senior.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the point.
Mm.
Because it has to be, you have to be very careful. Chetan Chand Prabhu says, if you're very angry and you want to say something to the other person, don't say. They write an email, and now you want to write a very harsh email to him, saying, Prabhu, how you are very rude and you're like this, and I hate you and everything. You write it, but don't send it. You tell your mind, I'll send it next day.
Mm.
So when you cool down and you read the email, you will think, what am I thinking? And what was I thinking? It's useless. So it's like that. So you are angry, you want to do something, but you ask your mentor, should I act? This fool is doing like this to me. And he'll say, hey, cool down, it's okay. It's your own karma coming to you. Then your eyes open up. Hmm? Okay. So we'll stop, pause here. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Shri Prabhupada ki, Sai Gaur Premanandi. Can you pause the pause?